Welcome back everyone to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. So we're coming off of our best race so far where we finally had a chance to see what some better drivers can do in the car. Now of course that's not without its negatives, and this is actually one of the things that's given me the most enjoyment out of this playthrough so far. Amidst all of the new stuff that we're dealing with the endurance racing, with the driver's stamina, and having multiple drivers per car and all that sort of thing, one of the things that I'm doing differently than I have done in the past is I'm pushing the limits a little bit more on the money. In fact, I'm actively trying to see how close to getting fired that I can get. That's part of what I'm trying to do here. And in basically all of my playthroughs I've done in the past, both the ones on the channel as well as the ones I've done offline, I have played it fairly conservative with the money and not really done a whole lot on the first season and just basically tried to learn what I could. But this time I decided to go opposite of that and really get aggressive with spending money. That's why we've been doing so much with the parts, and we built an HQ building, and we've been doing, we got new drivers and all that kind of stuff. All of that is spending a lot more money than I would normally even think about in our first season, but I'm really getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. So the fact that, we're at $4.9 million right now, and that's going to be nowhere near enough to get us through the rest of the season, is actually exciting to me to see if we're going to be able to make it or if I'm going to end up getting fired and we have to start this thing all over again. So keep that in mind as we're going through. I'm intentionally doing some of this, and it's adding quite a bit of fun. So let's start off always going through the email. Then you can see we got pit crew and then scouting to get to as well. Let's see, most of this we don't care about. Car condition, again, right around 50-55%. Okay, I like that. Let's go ahead and get our interview question out of the way. Which of your car has the better drivers? Wow. Let's see what happens there. Okay, everybody liked that. There's really no reason to say anything different than that, even though it's quite obvious which team has the better drivers. So we did 6 pit stops there in the last one, and 4 and 2 for the 2 different teams. Okay, so far so good on the pit stops, and then we have some more messages, and finally our next scouting report. So we got low quality drivers, so not interested there more than likely. Let's take a look anyway and see what we've got. I love this marketability. Of course, that's increased by the fact that we have a controversial person. A hothead is generally not good overall and over the long term. So we've got some pretty good stamina here. Overall, I mean, not that terrible of a driver. If you look at some of the things like the fitness and smoothness, even overtaking isn't bad. But somebody that we're not going to be interested in for the long term. All right, let's go back to, let's see, we'll go to the pit crew next. And let's see who's tired and who's not. Actually, it looks like everybody's in pretty good shape here. Overall, we got 72 is our lowest. He's made a mistake, or she, whichever. But other than that, looks like we're doing pretty good. All right, so I'm inclined to leave that where it is. We'll let these guys down here rest a little bit. And if we come back to, I believe it was on the home screen, yeah, we're right on par with the other cars as far as being average on the grid. Now, obviously, there's going to be some that are way up here, but we're about average, which is better than I would have expected. And then you can see our drivers we're basically still at the bottom. We're second to last there, but keep in mind that we have only really swapped down the drivers for one car. So keep that in mind. And it also lets you know that if we had done both, then we would probably be about mid-pack up here around the average level. So that gives you an idea of what kind of drivers that we have in the series. And then if you look at the car, you can see we are dreadfully below average on that. And it's really going to be year 2, maybe even year 3 before we can really make a lot of inroads there, just depending on how the money flows. And of course, overall, depending on whether or not we make it that far in this initial playthrough. So let's go ahead and click on here just so I can get rid of that 4 icon. I like the rear jack. I like the stamina quite a bit. I like the 0 mistake chance. Okay, not bad. This is somebody we might come back to a little bit later on, but for now, Okay, we got our car repair that is completed. So let's go ahead and, okay, we got that taken care of. Let's go to the car tab and see what we've got. Okay, so we got 30 days until our next race. So what are we trying to do here? Well, we've already gotten one of our brake packages in really good shape, both on performance as well as reliability. So now what we're trying to do is get started on our next component, or next brake package, which is of course about half of its performance level right now, and reliability is really bad right now. So we're going to focus on that because everything else is really in pretty good shape. We're at 80s or above, so we're in pretty good shape as far as that goes, and the fact that we're not pushing during the race is really helping. So I think we're going to be in good shape to go ahead and get the reliability a whole lot better before this next race, and then we'll turn our attention probably to performance, and who knows, maybe even get some of the other reliability up a little bit higher. But first, it looks like we've got a political vote to take part in. Let's see what we've got. New vote has begun, and it's about points for the top 5. Okay, so that would mean that only the top 5 drivers would be able to score points. Now, I'm not really in favor of that. I kind of like everybody getting points, but I can see where the top teams would really enjoy this. Now, we have an option here. We could abstain, and we would get an extra vote or an extra voting power for our next vote. But for right now, I'm just going to vote against this because I'm not terribly in favor of that. So let's go ahead and skip to the end and see how that works. Oh, it was approved. So a lot of people wanted that. So the strong teams outvoted us there. So very interesting. Next year, that means only the top 5 are going to score points. But of course, that has both good and bad to it. All right, so we'll have that to deal with. Looks like we got another scouting report to take a look at, but we need to go for one more day, I believe. Yeah, there we go. So we got another one ready. Okay, we'll go ahead and stop right here, and let's take a look at these scouting reports. Scott Price, one of the weaker drivers. Okay, see what the other one. Also one of the weakest drivers. Yikes. So we need to take a look at Sarah and Scott. Look at that marketability. Yikes. Of course, unfortunately, 25% of that, or 25, is going to go to a temporary perk, which is going to be gone in 3 weeks. So that's not good. All right, late breaker. We've got one of that on one of our drivers right now. Annoying other half. Okay, gotta love that one. Not good on stamina either. Pretty good on stamina there for Sarah. Marketability is pretty good. That will come down some after that temporary boost. Hates leading. Who doesn't want to lead? I mean, my goodness. Always love seeing that one. It's like, wow, who doesn't want to be in the lead? I understand wanting to chase, but my goodness, isn't the whole point to get to the lead? All right, so overall, I mean, 13 in cornering. Braking's not all that good. Overtaking's pretty good, at least until they get to the lead. Then they don't want to overtake anymore, which I assume would include the slower traffic. All right, so not bad. Let's take a quick glance here and see how we're coming along. All right, so we're at 46%, which is not bad. I think we still got 23 more days, so let's not get carried away. But I think we're going to be in good shape to be able to use this brake package in the next race, which is what I'm hoping for. Okay, we had another scouting report that's done and nothing else popping up. And if you're not familiar with the game, one of the things that happens is you'll have these random things that'll pop up from time to time. And let's see what we've got. All right, so this is something, well, I'll call it new. It's not really new to the game. It's new to me because they put this in toward the end of when I was playing previously. And so we get a chance to bring up something that we would like to have voted on. And the price for this is $1 million. And of course, we're in no position whatsoever to do this. But in future years, if we're in good financial shape, who knows? We could use this to our advantage. But for right now, we're going to reject that offer. I mean, you can use this for something like possibly getting in more freedom to make parts for the cars. more development, more or less development if you prefer that. So all sorts of stuff like that you can do with that and really move the rules in your favor if you would like to. All right, so we got another scouting report, below average driver. Okay. Let's take a look and just see what they consider below average. All right, so bad feedback. Well, really like team player. And good focus, but of course that's only for 3 more weeks. And great, absolutely amazing stamina there. That's a really low level in the red. And of course we're at full 100 there. I like that a lot. Cornering, not good. Smoothness, really good. Braking, overtaking, not bad. Fitness is great, as the stamina would show us. And then focus is really good, even with the 2 coming away from it. So not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right, while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at our car. Okay, we're up to 78. Excellent. That's what I want to see. So 7 more days. And wet weather training. Okay, this could be good, unless it costs money. And our upcoming race, let's see. Usually I don't spend a whole lot of time on these. Every once in a while I'll glance at them. I like to keep a lot of this secret and be surprised when I get to the racetrack. Just kind of something that once I've played the game a lot, something that I like to do to keep things fresh. Okay, so 40% chance of rain. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to have soft, medium, and hard tires rather than the super softs or ultra softs or anything like that. Okay. All right, not bad. Ride handling facility, and our lead designer is deeply concerned by our lack of investment in the handling of the car. You and me both. But you have to understand that we are a brand new team and we have nothing. So you'll just have to deal with that. But I agree, it would be great if we had that ride handling facility. All right, here we go. So we got a chance to attend an intense wet weather training, how appropriate as we're getting ready to do what could be a wet race. But it costs a lot, $500,000. Yikes. So as much as it would be nice for Petra, and she is one of our top drivers, if not the top driver that we have, it would be nice to have this, but we just can't do it with the money right now. Part of me wants to go ahead and click on this just to run even lower on money, but I'm going to abstain from doing that right now. So let's do too expensive, even though that would be a great attribute to have. Okay, we'll keep going. Another scouting report. And let's see what we've got here. Let's see. Oh, low quality driver. Well, that's no good. Okay, doesn't like racing at home and is really good in practice. Wow, that's being very good in practice is not that good. So, because they don't pay money or points in practice. All right, so we got the race coming up. All right, so before we get ready to travel, first thing I want to do is take a look and see how far we got. Oh, 98%. And that's what I'm talking about. That is perfect. So now we'll clear that out of there. And what I'm going to do, I think, is probably, I mean, I really want to increase the performance here. So I'm kind of torn as to, you know, do I work on some of this for the other parts, or do I go ahead and work on the brakes? I think for now I'm going to go with the brakes, but I might change my mind on that very soon. Okay. So not too bad. It says 41 days after the race before it's done. So that's not bad. It'll be in a very good shape before our next race, but not, of course, this one. All right, so let's go ahead and continue, and let's see. What do we think here? Again, this doesn't really help us very much, so I'm going to go ahead and choose 5th or above. We've got a shot at it if I can, you know, not make any mistakes on the tires, and that's entirely possible with the probable rain. Okay, the allotment of tires makes a lot of sense, actually. The way they did it, you would imagine more soft tires because we have a lot less driver stamina on this side. But I'm actually going to go ahead and drop this down some because I can't imagine really needing the hard tires. The medium tire, or what's actually in between here, in this case it's going to be the medium tire, is actually the one I find myself using most often with car number 1. Okay, let's make sure. Let me make sure we got. Okay, probably very little chance I'm going to use the hard tire. Only Carolyn would be able to do that. And okay, so I like this. This is pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and fit some parts, because what I want to do is let's go ahead and give, for now, car 2 is going to get. I'll tell you what. No, let's keep it like this, because I might forget to swap these back out, because before the next race, this will be the better part as far as performance. So I want to keep it on there. Plus, it's got more reliability, and I like that. Even though we're losing a little bit of performance, I don't think it's going to be all that big a deal. Okay, I think we're in good shape there. Okay, everything looks good. Let's head to the race. All right, so practice and qualifying are done, and this is where it's going to get very interesting. So we had talked about rain earlier and the fact that there was a 40% chance of rain, and well, it's 100% right now, because we are going to start the rain and start the race, and it is in full wet gear. Now, if you notice, as far out as we can see, which isn't very far, it's raining, and ultimately the very first lap is going to be about halfway between dry and wet, but then after that you can see it's basically full wet, and the question remains, well, how long is it going to stay that way? And we have no idea. So if we take a look at our knowledge bonuses, of course, I focus on race trim and practice, so we got the full 15% level 3 there. But then medium tires, we have level 3, but over here we have our engine expert. It's back. So we have that option here, and that, of course, if you weren't with us before, means that the higher engine mode, meaning the harder we push the engine, we're going to use more fuel, but it won't kill us on the reliability. And that is huge, because we can get more speed by simply pushing the engine harder, and in this case, it is a freebie for us with regards to reliability. Now, it's going to drink a lot more fuel, and it's going to play around with my strategy of, just like last time, I really wanted to use just 2 pit stops. I think the rain is going to take care of all of that for us, because who knows how many pit stops we'll have to make based on the rain, and we'll have some fun with that. And I'm sure I'm going to make some mistakes with that as well. Let's move into the setup. You can see, I mean, it's both cars have very good setups, 95 to 97%, something along those lines. Yeah, 95 there. So I wasn't worried about that. Tire choice, of course, is going to be full wets for everyone in the field starting out, but you can see we should be able to get somewhere around an hour using that scenario, but unfortunately we're not going to have an hour's worth of fuel. No way we'll have that. So I'm going to be looking to get somewhere around 45 minutes worth of driving time. So it's obvious that with these tires we can get 45 minutes of driving time. I just don't know how things are going to work out with the weather, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Other car is going to be exactly the same. We've got Carolyn Anderson in here, who has the most stamina. So her tire choice, of course, is going to still be the full wets, and we're giving her a full load of fuel, but we'll have to see how much fuel we give future drivers based on the length of time we can reasonably expect them to stay out there, and or fuel and so on. All right, so I think we've got everything taken care of. Let's get this race started. All right, so it's running through there. We're going to go ahead and hit save, because I've learned to save early and often in this game. All right, here we go. So, of course, it's going to be a rolling start. Let's go ahead and, oh, we're in thunderstorm right off the bat. A huge clap of thunder there. All right, so we're going to start this particular race under full wets, and we're going to be pushing our engine extremely hard in car number 1, and we're going to be pushing it on level 3 in car number 2, and you can see those here. All right, so we're going to be keeping an eye on the weather as much as possible, and we're just going to see what happens here. This should be a lot of fun and give me opportunities to play some strategy for better or for worse. All right, so we had a driver mistake already All right, I didn't see that it really cost us anything. It didn't give us anything about, yes, I know it's hurting your tire wear because the tire temps are not up there. I got it. Not worried about that, though, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Because we are definitely not going to be pushing unless I can see that it's going to be very good for us strategically. And right now, we're running pretty good. I mean, 21st and 23rd isn't great, but for us, it is. Oh, great. And we're getting more mistakes, and I'm not even pushing with her. So, really no reason for her to be making all these mistakes other than her driver stats. Okay, so far so good. I do plan to use the 2D mode a little bit more in this race. It's a little easier on my eyes, and I tried to go a full race with it last time, and it was okay, but I do prefer the 2D mode. All right, let's go ahead and swap over to that for a little while now. One thing I don't like is I can't, there we go. Now we can get zoomed out a little bit more. This is where I want. So, again, not quite the level of detail here that you get in the 3D mode, but it enables me to focus a little bit more on the weather, and there's fewer things going on the screen to catch my eye than in the 3D mode. Okay, so one of the big things for us is going to be just how far we're going to be able to push this, and how long is the full wets going to be in effect. Because right now we have plenty of fuel in both cars, even though we're pushing this engine really hard. And you can start to see a very well-defined difference in between the amount of fuel we have in both cars. So we're up to 19 and 22nd, and yet another driver mistake. So of course, this all comes down to, I mean, car number one could wreck. Lots of things could happen. We're just going to have to follow along. Looks like full wets are going to be there for quite some time. All right, so far so good. Again, the strength for us in car number one is the stamina of the drivers. So the longer we can go, if we can get by making 2 to 3 pit stops, that's where we're in good shape. 2 pit stops is probably not realistic for this particular race, but under normal circumstances, it should be. All right, and our focus here is a minimum of 45 minutes. That's what we're hoping for. I'm not sure. It's going to be close on fuel here, but I really don't want to turn that down because I absolutely love using that max engine mode without having to worry about the reliability. Love doing that. But you can see the fuel is definitely burning. And our tire situation, as we look here, we're about the same as everybody else on wear, tire wear. For the most part, we're pretty close to everybody else. All right, so we get the water on the track goes down a little bit, but then not enough to matter, and then it goes right back up. So for as far out as we can see at this point, looks like we're going to be in full wets. Let's see, can we drag this around? No, we have to keep it right there, but we can zoom in and out a little bit. All right, so 20th and 22nd. And again, you can see a very well-defined groups of cars. Of course, the Group A cars are going to be much faster, and as they start to blend in with our division, it skews things some, but you can see the slower cars at the back. There's a group of us, and then there's some cars that are more toward the front. All right, so our tires are starting to wear out some. That's okay, because our fuel is leaving as well. And oh wow, are we going to be able, is this going to time out perfectly? If you see, the water drops off quite significantly and quite quickly. The key is going to be, is this going to time up really well with our pit stops? Running low over here on driver's stamina, which is fine. I just really need this to play out as far as the timing on the pit stops. You can see some of these guys have already made some pit stops to put on full wets. I would really like not to do that. So, all right, in fact, let's go ahead and let's cut this down a little bit. I need to cut down on our fuel a little bit because I really want this. I really want to make it until we can put on at least inters. I can't tell beyond that what's going to be necessary. But I know these other guys are going to have to come back in and get off of full wets. And I would like very much to be able to do that all at one time. But we are really cutting it close over here on fuel. All right, here we go. So now, okay, it's come as far as it can. Of course, we're going to have to stagger these out a little bit. So car number 2 is going to have to suffer. Unfortunately, that's just the name of the game. So now we're going to hand it over to drive number 2. And as far as I can tell, we're going to put inters on, but I have no idea if that's going to be long term. I definitely can't go to dry weather tires right now. That's for sure. All right, so we're going to go to inters. And once again, I'm going to fill this thing up. I tell you what, let's just go, full fuel. And we'll see. So if we have to come back in and change out to dry tires, that'll be fine. We just won't need to put any fuel in it, or at least not very much. Okay, let's go ahead and schedule that pit stop. Let's swap back over to 3D mode here for just a minute. There we go. All right, now we'll schedule our second pit stop, which will come complete with a driver change. And here we're going to get, let's see, what do we think? Maybe 40 minutes or so at most. And again, I'm going to go inters and hope for the best for now. Okay, so the inters, we're going to get nowhere near that. But let's go ahead and fill him up full of fuel. Keep forgetting that button's over here. All right, so everything looks good as far as that goes. Pit strategy, everything is in good shape. So we'll fill him up with fuel. And then, all right, there we go. Now we're off and running. Let's go back to full speed for now, because I got a feeling we're going to be back here shortly for some different tires. All right, so we're 20th and 21st. We know these guys at the front, there they go. They're starting to come in now, and that moves us up some in the standings, 16th and 17th. So far, so good. All right, I like it. You can see the tire warming is a little bit better here. Again, I don't want to press the issue too much on that because it kills the driver's stamina, and I need these guys to go as long as we can. All right, watching that, the water on the track. I want to come in and put on dries, but I don't want to be the first one to do it right now. There's already a couple that have done so, and I think that's going to hurt them for probably a good 5, 6, 7 laps at least. I know because I did it in the wet tires back a few videos ago. So things are still going really good. Again, we don't have the speed for where we're running right now, but right now this is pretty awesome with the way things have gone so far. And I'm not seeing any rain in the future ahead of us right now. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to take this chance. Of course, we're going to keep the same driver in there, but we're going to go ahead and let's see, what have we got here? That would give us 30 minutes. How long has he been in the car? 17. That would get us right at about 50 minutes or so, so that would be good. Let's actually go, man, I would like to go soft tires there, but I think I'd rather go medium. And again, try to get right at that hour mark if we can. All right, let's go ahead and fill him up. Let's go ahead and fill him up. 72 down to 4. Yeah, let's fill him up because we're going to go with full engine mode. Okay, so we didn't swap out drivers there, and we're basically back down to a dry track for now. Okay. All All right, now let's set up our other driver. Let's go ahead and put, man, as much as I hate to do this, we're getting too close here. Let's go ahead and do a driver change. And let's go, what is his stamina? 79. And plus he's got a large red range here. So we're going to be lucky to get, wow, that's about 35 to 40 there. So yeah, we're going to be lucky to get 30 minutes out of there. Did I do the driver swap? I did. And let's do soft tires. That'll give about 30 minutes. So yeah, we're going to have to do more stops, but that's okay. 26 to 28 laps. That means, actually, that'll work out pretty good with the fuel we already have on board. No sense in taking any additional time. Okay, so yeah, full engine mode here. And I'll keep an eye on the tire heat. Okay, and we'll see how things go. Of course, this drops us back now that we're more on even keel with the teams around us as far as pit stops. So this drops us down some, and we'll just see how it goes. Ooh, tire heat is going way up there on both. So we're going to have to drop back to conserve because we don't want these tires to get overheated. So you can see the lower I go with the driver, it does bring them down some. We'll have to see how far though. I don't want to go down to the number one option, which is back up. I don't want to do that. And hopefully I won't need to. It looks like they're coming down enough that I won't have to. All right, but I mean, just look here. We're 15th and 19th. I mean, we're doing amazing. Now, how long can this last? I mean, we'll see. Will the dampness come back? Will we start getting some rain? I mean, all these questions that we've got to get answered. So far, so good. No rain appears to be in the immediate area. Okay, and already you can see the benefit that it has whenever you don't have to put any fuel on board. Man, it really takes a lot of time out of the pit stop. So that's pretty awesome whenever you can get by with doing that. Also, notice how much drive time we're getting out of driver number 2. We're at 40 minutes right now. And we're going to get quite a bit more than that as long as things stay where they are. Okay, let's actually go back to neutral a little bit because I do want to push a little bit with these guys if I can. But I'm going to watch that tire heat pretty closely and try not to let it get out of hand. You can see how quickly it jumps back up there, so I'll go back down to conserve with both of these guys. So I can't push for very long, maybe a lap or two at the most, it appears. But given where we're running, I'm okay with that right now. It would be nice to finish above the sponsorship objective just to get as much money as we can. All right, wow, look at this driver out front. This team is just killing it. They got a huge lead. That is either some great strategy or some serious speed. All right, things going really well. It's always nice whenever you can be running, for our purposes, we're running third right now and complaining about not being able to pass for second. That's a good problem to have. All right, so once again, looks like we're in great shape here for weather. I don't see any weather, and we're almost at an hour of drive time here, so we might be able to do this on one more stop if, and that is a huge if, we get cooperation from the weather. And if we're able to do that, I think we're in great shape. All right, I'm liking this quite a bit. Tire temps are once again doing great. I'm going to go back to neutral just for, again, maybe a lap or two, but not long, because these tire temps will shoot up there pretty quick. And already you can see them starting to rise again. See, we've got stamina issues here, but we know about that. That's no problem. Let's go ahead and we'll swap back to conserve because I don't want to get the tire temps too high. And we're running low on fuel anyway. Alright, I am very happy right now. Let's go ahead and start the pit cycle. Alright, let's get our number 2 driver. Now remember, he was only in there for about 20 minutes earlier. So we're going to get him back in there. And again, no weather appears to be in the area, at least not immediately. So we're going to go soft tires. I actually let these tires go a little bit too far. But let's see, 34. So that's about 40 minutes. Can we make it? Wow, I don't think we can do it with one driver. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do it because we can't put Carolyn back in there and make it to the end of the race for sure. And Rico, I don't know. This is going to be extremely close. All right, fill him up on that. But tire choice, we're going to have to try this. We're going to put some medium tires on and hope that we can make him to the end with stamina. I don't think we can, but we're going to try it. We are sure going to give it our best shot. Okay, so we're running low on fuel here, but of course his time for a pit stop will be coming very shortly. There we go. And so we're going to make one more round. I wish it would stay where I want it though. Okay, now let's get our pit strategy good to go. And so 47 minutes, and that's well within our guidelines. Actually, could we do it? No, we can't quite do it. On the soft tires, take another look at the weather. Looks good. So medium tires. Let's see, fuel options. About 40 laps probably. Let's see, what does that give us? Okay, we're going to have to back off on the engine here because I want to make sure we can make this. So we'll back off just a little bit on the options for the engine. Let's go ahead and do that now, so I don't forget. So we had a bad mistake on the rear jack. So of course that's going to bring us back down. Okay, now we're back off and running. Alright, so far, so good. Alright, let's go ahead and go to neutral briefly. So we'll wait for some of these other drivers to make their pit stops. And as soon as they do that, we'll be back in good shape. We'll go back to the 2D mode. Alright, let's come back down to conserve. Alright, so it looks like, let's see, reasonably, I think we can get back up to where we were. Of course, we'll see how it goes. Depends on the strategy of some of these other guys. They're running low on tire, so I think they're going to have to come in again, but we'll see. I'm going to try and keep this at neutral as much as I can. Those tire temps just keep coming back up there very quickly. And I don't want to get the tires overheated. Alright, so we're fired up on actually both drivers right now. So that's good. Alright, we move up a few spots. We got some pit stops happening right now. That's what we were expecting. Then we also take a look at the gaps that we're running. Let's go back to neutral. Alright, so the issue we have is, are we going to make it over here? Are we going to be able to make it without another driver change, without another pit stop? That's the real question. And there we go. I'm not sure. This is going to be cutting it close, like really close. All right, we're up to 18th and 20th. So Romano's in for a great finish if he can hang in there and make it on stamina. Looks like we're going to have plenty of fuel. All right, let's go ahead and go full overtake mode here. I think we've conserved long enough. All right, so we're up to what, 18th and 20th. All right, so we got some part issues that are creeping in right now, which is exactly what you would expect. All right, time to come back down to conserve on car number 1. All right, 8 minutes left. So 8 minutes left. Go for it. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to run down the car in 19th place. All right, yeah, stamina is finally getting down there, but it's only 4 minutes left, so you've made it now. All right, we're up to 17th. Okay, I didn't see what happened. I didn't see if there was a pit stop or what the case was. But we made it. That's the key. All right, so now we got tires that are overheating, but that's all right because we are on the last lap. Oh, come on. Get back by. Man. All right, so I let them get a little bit too hot there. So we come out just outside of where we needed to be. 18th and 20th. That's all right. I will take that. That is a good finish for us. Okay, not too bad. Not bad at all. Okay, no issues in scrutineering for us, which is what we hope for. Okay, driver championship isn't going to mean anything for us because we've swapped out some drivers. All right, so as we head through these final few screens where we'll look at driver morale and different things. So I'm happy with where we are in the season so far. This is good. It's been a lot of fun to play around with some different strategies and different stamina levels and all that kind of thing. It's been pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to trying. I got another, at least another strategy that I want to try with car number 1. Because I've been going minimum number of pit stops with them, but I think I want to change that up a little bit and try something else. See how that works. Team marketability is climbing a little bit, not fast enough for my liking, but we're getting there. You can see not even a full % there with what I would consider to be a really good race for us. So we lose another 1.48, almost $1.5 million. So that'll come down even more. So we'll be looking for some money here before too long, or we'll be looking for a new job. All right, so that brings us back to our main menu. And so I had a lot of fun in that race. Again, trying different strategies, trying a lot of different things. The timing worked out pretty good on the weather there, so I'm happy about that. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned next time for more of our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager.